Insiders from both camps have reportedly confirmed that Jalen Brunson and Victor Wembanyama are now at the center of one of the NBA's fiercest rivalries. What once looked like a respectful battle between two elite competitors has turned into a feud that could reshape the league for years to come. The breaking point came just hours after the New York Knicks captured the 2026 NBA championship. While the basketball world expected celebration and sportsmanship, Brunson made headlines for an entirely different reason. A 6-second video from a New York celebration instantly went viral, showing him leading a room full of fans in a loud anti-Wembanyama chant. Within 6 hours, the clip had exploded to more than 15 million views, igniting social media and forcing the NBA into damage control mode. Knicks fans defended Brunson, calling it old-school competitiveness and saying emotions naturally run high after winning a championship. Spurs fans saw it differently. They argued that celebrating a title by mocking the opposing superstar crossed the line. The debate quickly became one of the biggest NBA stories of the offseason. The following morning, reporters gave Brunson an opportunity to calm the situation. Instead of blaming the celebration or apologizing, he doubled down. Looking directly into the cameras, he delivered a statement that instantly fueled the rivalry even further. "You all hyped him, but forgot who the real MVP is." Those words weren't spoken out of insecurity. They reflected years of frustration from a player who constantly felt overlooked despite proving himself at every stage of his career. Most fans assumed the rivalry had simply boiled over during the intensity of the NBA Finals. But the real story actually began more than 2 years earlier. On March 29th, 2024, the Knicks traveled to San Antonio for a regular season matchup that would unexpectedly become the foundation of everything that followed. Brunson delivered one of the greatest performances of his career, pouring in 61 points and finishing just 1 point shy of tying Carmelo Anthony's franchise scoring record. Under normal circumstances, that would have dominated every headline the next day. Instead, Victor Wembanyama stole the spotlight. The rookie responded with an incredible performance of his own, recording 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists while leading the Spurs to an overtime victory. But it wasn't his stat line that created controversy. After the final buzzer sounded, Wembanyama grabbed the official game ball and launched it into the arena stands before anyone from New York could preserve it as a historic keepsake for Brunson. The move immediately sparked criticism across the league. The NBA eventually fined Wembanyama $25,000 for the incident, yet many people overlooked what happened moments later during his post-game press conference. Wembanyama praised Brunson's performance, admitting he had rarely witnessed that level of greatness and expressing genuine respect for what Brunson accomplished. From Wembanyama's perspective, the game ball incident was simply part of an emotional victory, but by then, the damage had already been done. Brunson viewed the entire sequence as a direct act of disrespect. In the NBA, milestone game balls carry tremendous significance. When a veteran scores a career-high 61 points, that ball represents years of sacrifice and hard work. To Brunson, throwing it into the crowd erased one of the most meaningful moments of his career. NBA legends, including Shaquille O'Neal, also criticized the incident, arguing that while Wembanyama had every right to celebrate his incredible performance, taking away Brunson's milestone crossed an unwritten rule of respect. Brunson never forgot it. Fast forward to Game 3 of the 2026 NBA Finals, and that lingering tension finally spilled onto the court. Early in the first quarter, Brunson attempted to set what appeared to be a routine screen. Instead, Wembanyama forcefully shoved him around the head and neck, sending him crashing onto the hardwood. Surprisingly, officials allowed play to continue without even reviewing the contact. Brunson got up and kept playing, but the controversy only grew after the game. The next day, NBA head of officiating Monty McCutcheon publicly admitted the referees had missed the foul. Despite acknowledging the mistake, the league refused to upgrade the play to a flagrant foul after reviewing it. Meanwhile, people close to Wembanyama argued that his physical play was simply a response to the Knicks' defensive strategy throughout the series. New York consistently attacked him with aggressive screens, hard body contact, and constant physicality whenever he touched the ball. Game 5 perfectly illustrated that approach. Rather than challenging Wembanyama at the rim, Mike Brown adjusted New York's offense by repeatedly running high pick-and-roll actions. The objective wasn't simply to score, it was to drag the 7'4" superstar away from the basket and force him to defend quick guards on the perimeter for nearly the entire game. The strategy worked exactly as intended. Instead of allowing Wembanyama to dominate the paint with his elite shot-blocking ability, Brunson attacked his mobility, using sharp changes of direction and precise mid-range jumpers to neutralize his size advantage. It was less about avoiding Wembanyama and more about exploiting basketball IQ over pure athleticism. Still, the physical battle never stopped. In Game 4, after Wembanyama hit a difficult basket over Mitchell Robinson and taunted the Knicks by pointing toward his ear, Robinson responded several possessions later with a hard elbow to Wembanyama's face. It became another example of how emotionally charged the series had become. Even Draymond Green weighed in, claiming the Knicks were intentionally pushing the limits of physical defense because they knew allowing Wembanyama to dominate would likely cost them the championship. As the finals continued, it became increasingly clear that this rivalry wasn't just about basketball. It represented two completely different paths to NBA stardom. Brunson was the definition of a self-made player, drafted 33rd overall, repeatedly told he was too small to become a franchise superstar. He earned every opportunity through years of hard work and consistent improvement. Wembanyama arrived under entirely different circumstances. Before he even played an NBA game, he was promoted globally as the league's next generational superstar. Massive marketing campaigns labeled him the Alien, and enormous expectations followed him from France to America. As the finals continued and the intensity refused to diminish, it became increasingly evident to observers that this bitter rivalry was about far more than just the game of basketball itself. At its core, it represented two completely different, almost diametrically opposed paths to NBA stardom, two divergent narratives about how success in the league is achieved and recognized. Brunson embodied the very definition of the self-made player, a gritty underdog drafted 33rd overall who had been repeatedly told throughout his career that he was too small, too slow, and too unathletic to ever become a true franchise superstar. He earned every single opportunity through years of relentless hard work, unwavering self-belief, and consistent incremental improvement that gradually transformed him into one of the league's most dangerous offensive weapons. Wembanyama, by stark contrast, arrived under entirely different and far more glamorous circumstances. Before he even played his first official NBA game, he was already being promoted globally as the league's next generational superstar, with massive marketing campaigns labeling him the Alien and enormous, almost impossible expectations following him all the way from France to America. Brunson, according to those who have spoken with him privately, never appeared to resent Wembanyama's extraordinary talent or his unique physical gifts. What genuinely frustrated him was how quickly the basketball world, driven by a relentless hype machine, seemed willing to crown Wembanyama as the league's next great superstar, while simultaneously overlooking players like him who had already spent years grinding and proving themselves at the highest level. That fundamental philosophical difference became especially noticeable and grating during the 2026 finals, when much of the national conversation stubbornly focused on Wembanyama's supposedly bright future and his eventual place among the all-time greats instead of Brunson's more immediate and tangible championship run.